Okay. Magnanimous. Persons who can give themselves to anyone are called magnanimous. No one could be more magnanimous than Kṛṣṇa, because he is always prepared to give himself completely to his devotee. Even to one who is not a devotee, Kṛṣṇa in his form of Lord Chaitanya is prepared to give himself and to grant deliverance. Although Kṛṣṇa is independent of everyone, out of his causeless mercy, he is dependent upon Garga Rishi for religious instruction. For learning the military art, he is dependent upon Satyaki. And for good counsel, he is dependent upon his friend Uddhava. So Kṛṣṇa, he actually becomes dependent on his devotee. And if his devotee, for some reason, cannot offer the usual service that devotee is normally engaged in, then Kṛṣṇa becomes very disturbed. See? Just like the other day I told about the end of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that when after a long, long time of visiting all these other planets, that the cowherd boy returned to Goloka Vrindavan, that he found Kṛṣṇa was like freaking out, like, you know, where is my Gopal? Kṛṣṇa was freaking out because he needed that devotee service. He becomes dependent on that devotee service. Why? Because the devotee is giving him pleasure. Try to understand. Just like when we get into a relationship, let's say a love relationship, you know, even in this material world, even though these relationships are very imperfect and very temporary, we become so attached to the pleasure that we derive from them, even though it's not very much, that we'll do almost anything to keep these relationships going, even though there are so many disadvantages and so many problems associated with them. So if that kind of attachment to pleasure is present in our personality, then we know it must also be there in Kṛṣṇa. That's where we get that quality. So Kṛṣṇa becomes very, very attached to his devotees. He doesn't let anything happen to them. If anything happens that destroys or that disturbs the devotee's service, and Kṛṣṇa is like right there, what's going on? And so we like this. We want Kṛṣṇa to become attached to our service. We want Kṛṣṇa to be very attached to our work to please him. This is why he creates us. This is why he maintains us. He wants us to serve him. And for each devotee, there's a particular, unique form of service that only that living entity can do. Kṛṣṇa makes every one of us unique and different, just so that we can serve him in a particular way. And that's up to him. It's very, very difficult to tell beyond the general type of service how Kṛṣṇa has created a particular living entity and what kind of service that he wants from that particular devotee. But it is possible for each and every one of us, by approaching Kṛṣṇa and meditating on him and becoming experienced in his service, it's possible for all of us to realize that service mode that Kṛṣṇa wants from us and that will please him. And this is actually what we can do. This is the most advanced level of devotional service. This is right before self-realization. One starts to realize this, or even after self-realization, even after seeing Kṛṣṇa. Sometimes still we're not totally 100% clear on what our service in the spiritual world might be. And it can take a long time to figure this out. But this is the gateway that leads to actual engagement in the spiritual world directly with Kṛṣṇa. Whether we're still in a material body or not, we can have this experience and we can be directly engaged, pleasing Kṛṣṇa in the spiritual world. I mean, it's so nice. You could just sit under a tree and like close down the senses and go inside and be with Kṛṣṇa and serve Kṛṣṇa in your particular role in the spiritual world. And, you know, the time just seems to melt away, and, you know, there's just nothing more pleasant. There's nothing more wonderful, imaginable, because you're with that person who is the soul of your soul. So the love experienced in the relationship with Kṛṣṇa is so sweet and so satisfying that we have no need for any other kind of relationships. But of course, when we meet other devotees, other people who are interested in the same kind of thing and getting close to Kṛṣṇa, then we relish their company because we encourage one another on this path of devotional service. And that makes us more enthusiastic and more confident and helps us to advance further in this great science. And so that's a very desirable thing. And since we started our little association, our little community, we've had so many adventures together, gone through thick and thin, and, you know, up and down different continents, and up in the mountains, and over the hills, and I mean, we've just had so many far out adventures, and it looks like it's just going to continue. And this is the greatest fun. So even though I'm like, you know, getting old, so to speak, I still feel young and fresh and enthusiastic. And I look forward to each day, because I know this is going to be another great day in Kṛṣṇa's service. And that I'm going to be in the company of devotees, pure devotees, who are following this process so nicely, making advancement. And then I see that other people are taking this up too, and they're also reporting very good results. So this always makes me feel very nice that we're providing some service to the public to help them approach Kṛṣṇa and to help them realize this nectar of devotional service to the Lord. So, you know, I'm just so jazzed about this, and I want to do more and more and more. And I, you know, you can ask my devotees. I'm always coming up with newer and newer plans how to expand Kṛṣṇa's service, how to engage more people in Kṛṣṇa's service. So when we do this work, we get so much satisfaction from it that, you know, we don't even think about like material enjoyment and stuff like that, because it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't even come up. It's like, how can we please Kṛṣṇa more and more and more and more? Because Kṛṣṇa is pleasing us also. Kṛṣṇa is the most steady, most reliable, most pleasing, the sharpest dresser, the greatest dancer. He's the most rich and most creative person. He's got all good qualities, and these qualities are all part of the impetus, the vibhava, to perform devotional service. Now, in the next couple of chapters, over the next few days, we'll start talking about Kṛṣṇa's devotees and how Kṛṣṇa's devotees also help us in this process and help us to remain enthusiastic like that. So, Hare Kṛṣṇa. Are there any questions?
On TV. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to add one comment about all this. That most of these qualities and personality traits are very related to arts or artistic, which I remember when I was in high school or something like that. I'm on TV.
Good.
That I would not know a single person that knew how to sing.
None?
No, none, zero. Zero. I would know not a single person that would play the violin, or that would. I mean, the most advanced was someone who played electrical guitar, or yeah, that's it. It's very, very common, I believe, that most people don't even know a single person who is expert in any art. Yeah, because you were a musician, for you it was normal.
That was my whole world.
It was every day like that. But if we did a statistic about this, I would say easily 80% or more have not any contact, or the level of artists they have contact with is very, very like low.
Garage band,
or the family party meeting. Everybody's just wasting time. So, like when the garland was being